All right, sir.
Thank you. I still have to hold this one.
I don't know how this will go, so that's why we have this.
Okay. If this one suffices, it will be better for me.
Let's try it.
Um,
So you would have to speak.
Then let me have bring it. I have my printed copy here. Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Having started in the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful, I ask Him to send more peace and blessings on His beloved prophets and the leader of all messengers of Allah, Muhammad ibn Abdullah. May the same peace and blessings be extended to cover all members of his family, all of his companions, and whoever follow their footsteps until the day of resurrection. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, please just allow me to adopt the already established protocol. I understand you have been waiting since morning, and I want to sincerely apologize for that one. So in that regard, I wouldn't like to take much of your time in introductory remark again. Rather, go straight to the business of the day. But I would like to say a word or two so that I wouldn't be unfair to myself too. I think my chief host here, Professor Razak, is quite aware of this fact. That was how it was planned. I wasn't scheduled to be here since morning. He was aware that, I don't know you are even aware that I left Lagos 7 a.m. yesterday. I didn't tell you. Yes, I traveled from Benin to Lagos on Saturday because I had a lecture on Sunday at Lagos House of Assembly Mosque. But because of the importance of this program to me, and I know I had to be back at my faculty for accreditation yesterday. So I had to travel by here to Ilorin yesterday, 7 a.m. flight, and knowing fully that I'll be back in Lagos here today too. So it wasn't possible, and there was no morning flight. There is no morning flight coming from Ilorin to Lagos. I don't know why you do that to us in the lorry. So it's always in the afternoon, or you have to wait until the later part of the day before you can get to Lagos from the lorry. So despite all that, I sincerely apologize for keeping you waiting since morning. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make whatever time we spend with each other, with one another this afternoon, to be beneficial to us all in this life and in the next one. The topic of my presentation is to discuss the importance of halal markets, and precisely to see it as a catalyst for economic growth in Nigeria. I will discuss some opportunities that are in the halal market industry for this nation, and at the same time will point at some of the challenges that we have to overcome if we really want to take advantage of those opportunities. We can move to the next slide. I think we have just 20 minutes and I have about 50 slides, so I don't know how to cope. But you just have to be jumping a slide to another. Well, this is just an introduction. The global halal market industry today is worth $5 trillion. Forget about what you are seeing there. Because when we say $5 trillion, it means we are taking into cognizance all the components of the halal industry. Halal industry has a major component in Islamic finance. I think it's going to be represented here today by Dr. Tajuddin Yusuf. So Islamic finance has a lion's share of the whole industry. It actually has more than 50% of the total market share of the halal industry. When you take out Islamic finance with about $3 trillion, what remains is this is the what I was talking about, the market share of Islamic finance is approximately $3 trillion in the world today, and the remaining 2 belongs to other components of the halal market, precisely the food industry, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, halal travel, media and recreation. So the worth of this market that we are talking of this afternoon is $5 trillion. I think you will agree with me that as a nation that is looking for alternative sources of income, we cannot close our eyes to such a huge market, $5 trillion market. And these are the quick facts about halal market. Halal may mean different things to different people. To us as Muslims, is an obligation. Is a mandatory request from Almighty Allah that whatever we consume, either as a product or a service, must be permissible. The permissibility is what stands for halal as an Arabic word. But even to non-Muslims, we are talking of halal market, the importance of halal market in halal industry to the entire Nigerian people, Muslims and non-Muslims alike. We want to grow our economy and we want to look at available opportunities, alternative to the mainstay of our economy, that is oil. And these are the quick facts that will give you an insight into what halal industry represents today in the world. The largest share of the market value is not even coming from Muslim-dominated countries. Surprisingly, it's coming from the North America. In 2016, the U.S. market value of halal food alone amounted to about $22.6 billion US dollars. The value of halal consumer spending worldwide, that has been said, but it is projected to have reached more than $3 trillion by the year 2023. Let's take more fact. In 2019, up to $11.8 billion were invested. The investment into halal market in 2019 was at that figure, 11.8, divided as shown there. The most part of this investment goes to halal food with 51.86%. Then we have Islamic finance taking, I can't see clearly, 2.89%. Halal tourism taking 1.3%, and others, pharmaceuticals taking 1.06%, and so on and so forth. Let's move to the next slide because of time. We want to go to opportunities and challenges. So let's move on. The next one. Let's wait a bit at the just immediately preceding slide. Can we go back there? This is very important for us to see that we are talking as Nigerians, is halal industry important to us or not, whether you are a Muslim or a non-Muslim. Look at this one. The top 5 halal food exporting countries in 2019 and 20, they were led by Brazil, followed by India, then United States of America. Number 4 position is Russia, and lastly Argentina. They exported most of the halal product in 2019/20 all over the world. The next one. Now halal market and the Nigerian economy. Okay, this is a quote from my inaugural lecture in April 2021. Just this year I delivered my inaugural lecture at the Better by Far University of Alaro. I said in that inaugural lecture, if a country like the United Kingdom could announce through its former Prime Minister that it was working towards making UK the Western hub of Islamic finance, I see no reason why Nigeria, with its large Muslim population, should aim at anything less than making the country the hub of Islamic finance in Africa. That was a challenge I threw in April 2021, and I'm here to throw up another challenge for us as a nation. If Nigeria, let's move to the next one. We are talking of the halal market. For the same reason or more, I see no reason why Nigeria should not become the hub of halal market, at least in sub-Saharan Africa. Sub-Saharan Africa consists of 46 out of the entire 54 countries of this continent, Africa. So Nigeria, for so many reasons, we can lead in that region of the world. We can be the hub of halal market in the sub-Saharan Africa. As I was preparing for today's presentation, I came across a news item that said the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Authority actually announced that it was working towards this goal, and I was really excited to learn that it was really working towards making Nigeria the hub of halal market in the entire sub-Saharan Africa. But I don't know how much, what has been done since that announcement was made, but I think part of what we hope to achieve in today's gathering is to remind them, to remind whoever is a stakeholder, that it is worth doing, and we must do, and we must act very, very quickly. Why? Because now, the next slide, unfortunately, as stated in the same inaugural lecture, South Africa with less than 5% Muslim is taking the lead, both in Islamic finance and even the halal industry, halal market. I look at this statistic. When we look at the sukuk market, which is a major component of the Islamic financial industry, South Africa is leading the African markets today with 0.20% of the share, the market share. Nigeria's share, despite that we have come on board about 3-4 years ago when the federal government of Nigeria issued the first ever sovereign sukuk of 100 billion naira. Subsequently, it issued another one in 2018. It issued another one in 2019, and the fourth one is in the pipeline. In the next few weeks or months, we will hear of the fourth sukuk issued by the federal government of Nigeria. That's a fantastic development, but we are even yet to catch up with South Africa with less than 5% Muslim population. So it's really a challenge for us. We must take advantage of the
South African population?
Yes.
Muslims?
Less than. Muslims are less than 5%. And yet they are leading Islamic finance. They are still leading the African market in the global halal industry. So it's not a matter of religion now. It's a matter of what benefits our economy as a nation. Other countries are seeing it in that light, and I don't know why Nigeria should be, should be an exception. I don't believe that. So South Africa is rated as one of the top global producers of halal products. Nigerian market share is unfortunately very, very insignificant. In fact, I looked at so many statistics in the financial, in what we call industrial report in the halal market. Nigeria was never captured because the market share is very, very insignificant. So we need to work harder to get to where we're supposed to be. Why? The next slide. Our situation now is both inexplicable and unjustifiable. Why? First, we have the largest population on the continent, with at least 50% of this population being Muslims. We are talking of a market that has more than 100 million Nigerian citizens. So it's a very big market. When we look at it from another perspective, we have the biggest economy on the continent. So why should South Africa lead us when we take into cognizance all these parameters? We are leading, we are the biggest economy, and we have larger, far larger population that could constitute a halal domestic market. And this is a new challenge. You know, as at beginning from this year, January 2021, we have a new development on the continent. African Continental Free Trade Area is going to create one single African market, no barriers. So it means everyone is free now to take any product to any African market. This could be an opportunity for us as Nigeria, because we have all what it takes to lead the continent in terms of the economic production and activity. So I see this one as an opportunity and as a challenge for us, that for us, for now, it's not, when we don't take action, others will take action and bring their products and services to our local market. And we can never deny them of that opportunity, because we are creating a single African market. And Nigeria is one of the signatories to this important development. Now to the opportunities, as we are rushing to meet up with the time. I've categorized the opportunities that abound in the halal industry space broadly into two categories. We have what I call general opportunities that are not peculiar to Nigeria. They are opportunities for Nigeria, just as they are opportunities for others all over the world. But we still have opportunities that are peculiar to each and every sector. We are going to look at opportunities that are available in the food industry, opportunities that are available in the pharmaceuticals, opportunities that are available in other sectors of the global halal industry. But generally, these are the four major opportunities that we can look into and take advantage of them if we really want to reach our potential in the ever-growing halal market in the world. Number one, growing world Muslim population is a real opportunity for us to take advantage of. And we have a very fantastic, a very significant share of that population. We are talking of more than 100 million Muslims in this country. The next one is growing non-Muslim market. the interest of non-Muslim market is ever increasing all over the world. I've showed you how Brazil led, followed by India, the United States of America, in being the major exporters of halal products and services all over the world. So there is that tendency also that even the non-Muslim market is ever growing, and we can take advantage of that one as an opportunity. Number 3 is the participation of the global brands. Nestle is the biggest food and beverages company in the world today. Since 1980, Nestle has discovered this opportunity by becoming halal certified since in 1980. And as I'm speaking with you today, it has about 100 of its factories all over the world that are all halal certified. So this is an opportunity for us too to see that this is not a market that is so insignificant. It's very significant. It's a huge potential for us to tap. Then number 4 is the economic growth of Muslim nations and communities. Yes, even the economic growth of Muslim nations and communities will actually contribute to the growth of the halal industry and halal market because of the very large population of Muslims that are residing in those countries. These are just explanations of what I've summarized in the previous slide. We may not be able to go into that, but this is very important. Let me stop a bit at this slide. Growing non-Muslim market. You know, subhanallah, when you look at Al-Quran Al-Kareem, wherever Allah asks us, even us as Muslims, to abide by the halal requirement of taking all what is halal, there is another word that always accompanies the word halal in Al-Quran Al-Kareem. That is the wisdom of Almighty Allah. Everywhere you see halalan, what follows is what? Tayyiba. Ya ayyuhan nasu, kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiba. Fakulu mimma razaqnakum halalan tayyiba. What does that imply? It simply means it is not only halal, but if it is halal, certainly you can rest assured it will be safe, it will be pure, it will be hygienic, and it will be healthy for you to consume. So this is what Al-Quran Al-Kareem has prescribed more than 1,000 years ago. And this is what the other world, the non-Muslim world, has come to realize, that halal is not only good for Muslims, but is equally good for mankind. So it's not surprising when I told you that non-Muslim countries are taking advantage and leading in the halal industry market, because they have come to realize that fact, that from the rigorous processes that halal product and services go through, they are not only permissible for consumption for Muslims, but equally they guarantee safety and they guarantee purity from different angles. So halal is not only for Muslim, it is universal because it is halal plus tayyib, meaning that it is permissible, it is healthy, it is safe, and it is pure. Let's move to the next one. The next one. So look at it. Muslim minority countries such as China, Australia, New Zealand, Brazil are today among the leading halal market globally, particularly on the import supply side. In the area of consumption or demand, countries like Britain, Australia, China, Korea, and USA are increasingly embracing the new trend of halal product, because it is not only halal, but it is equally tayyib. Not only halal, but is equally tayyib. This one, I've said it before. I've mentioned the example of Nestle. Let's see other examples. The previous slide, let's go back there. Participation of global top brands. We have Deutsche Bank, HSBC, Citibank, MasterCard offering Islamic finance product, Nestle, Carrefour, Walmart, Marks and Spencer, Whole Foods. All of them are going the halal way because they don't want to close their eyes to the huge opportunity that abound in halal industry. Economic growth of Muslim nations and communities. For instance, the intra-OIC trade is continuously growing. OIC means Organization of Islamic Conference, which comprises of Muslim majority countries in the world. So they have intra-trade that is ever growing, and this will automatically transfer into a bigger and bigger market for halal industry. The next one. So those are the major general opportunities that are available for us to look into as a nation, to key into this ever-growing sector, the halal industry. Now I'm going to talk about specific or sectorial opportunities that I know we have people here that are into the halal business. I want to expose you to some of the opportunities that may be hidden from you, to see which of these sectors you will have interest in them, and you can take advantage of those opportunities that are lying in every of these sectors. So let's move now to the next slide. The first one is halal food market. One of the key opportunities is that COVID-19 has led to a spike in demand for safe and hygienic food, including immunity-boosting foods and supplements. So it's an opportunity for people now to go and develop halal-certified products that will give people all this benefit that COVID-19 has actually opened our eyes to start looking for them. Also, no, we are still on the next slide. The next slide. The demand for halal food has grown along with the need for secure supply. Consumers are on the hunt for healthy yet convenient food that can be delivered. So there are so many opportunities in the halal food market, particularly as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and the restrictions that followed the incident. In pharmaceuticals, a large number of drugs and medications up till today have no halal alternatives. So if you have people here that are into pharmaceutical production, this is an opportunity for you. We still have a lot of products, pharmaceutical products in the world, that people are asking for an halal alternative. They know what they are taking as drugs, as medications, are not halal. So if you are able to develop one, you will have a huge market, not only in Nigeria, but globally. We consume locally, and you can even export same to the outside world. The halal pharmaceutical market is poised for further growth as more pharma companies move into the halal space to cater for a growing Muslim population. Collaborations between pharmaceutical companies and research institutes are broadening the possibility for sourcing halal ingredients. There is a particular case, Indonesia. Maybe in the next slide, let's look at the next slide. Good. Some countries are now legislating mandatory halal pharmaceutical certification. Indonesia, for instance, through its mandatory halal labeling law, has required pharmaceuticals to be halal certified within the next few years. And a lot of countries that want to trade their product in the Indonesian market have no choice but to go for halal certification for their pharmaceuticals. So that's one of the opportunities that we have, particularly in the pharmaceutical industry in the halal space. The next one. As a result, South Korean subsidiaries in Indonesia and joint ventures have sought certification, particularly for cancer drugs. Look, the last one here, COVID-19 has led to the development of vaccines all over the world. But up till today, there is no halal certified vaccine for COVID-19. So it's a big opportunity for us. If you can come up with a vaccine that will not be only safe, but will be halal and permissible for Muslims to use, it will give you a very huge market. Up till today, none of the available vaccines is halal certified. In travel and tourism, Muslim-friendly travel technology companies, you have a lot of opportunities in this area too. You can develop things that will be attractive to Muslims or those who are ethically minded of customers of your travel or tourism agency. So it's an opportunity for you in this particular sector too. The next one is media and recreation. Muslim spend on media and recreation increased by 3.7% to $222 billion in 2019 from $214 billion in 2018. A pan-Islamic TV channel in English and other major international languages with global reach is also needed, and that could be an area of advantage and opportunity that anybody that has the capability to key into that can actually take advantage of. Now, this is the last lap, the challenges. We've talked too much about the opportunities, and these opportunities, we cannot benefit from them unless we overcome the challenges that are also associated with them. So in the next few minutes, I shall be talking on the challenges that we may have if we want to take advantage of halal industry to further grow and develop our economy. The first challenge, the next slide. Nigeria needs to move from being a consuming nation to a producing one, particularly in the halal sector. Look at this statistic. In 2019, globally, Nigeria ranked number 4 among the 5 top halal food consumer market, with US dollars 83 billion consumed halal products imported. Others in that regard are Indonesia, Bangladesh, Egypt, and Pakistan. Now, we need to look at that. We cannot continue to be a consuming nation. We have a very huge domestic market. Yes, that's very good for us. But we must also think of how we can export our product, our halal product. I believe there are many people here that are into the halal business. Please don't think alone of marketing your product locally. So you have better opportunity when you export your product and when you export your services. Nigeria today is still not in the right position when we talk of exporting its halal products and services. So this is the latest global ranking in the halal food. It's not clear enough, but those are the leading exporters and the leading importers. Can we see it? The importers, the consumers are up. You can see Nigeria there, Egypt, Bangladesh, Indonesia. Let me see if I can read directly from my own hard copy here. Okay. When you look at the major importers of the halal food product in 2019-20, we have in the first place, we have Indonesia, followed by Bangladesh. Number 3 is Egypt, and as I said, Nigeria came 4th, while lastly was Pakistan. But look at the other side of it. Who are the major exporters? We are consuming. Who are those who producing what we consume? That is the challenge that we are having. Majority, when you look at these 5 nations, consuming nations, they are Muslim-dominated countries. But look at those who are making, producing, and exporting to them. The first position, can you see it? Yes, it's Brazil. The second position is India. The third position is United States of America. The fourth position goes to Russia. And finally, Argentina in the 5th position. So I think as a country, as a nation, we need to look into that direction. Why must we be a major consumer and not even being among the top leading exporters of halal products? Nigeria has the capacity to be one among those nations. The story is not too different. When we come to the next slide, Muslim-friendly travels, you see who are the major exporters, then compare them with the major importers. Then the next slide, even in the fashion, fashion has the same, almost identical results. In the halal pharmaceuticals, the result is not too much different. And even in halal cosmetics, the result is almost the same. Mainly, we still have majority of consumers of halal products coming from the Muslim populated countries. And those who are importing are non-Muslim dominated countries because they've seen the benefit. But what we are saying is that Nigeria as a country with a mixture of Muslim and non-Muslims, we can take advantage of that one and move from the status of being a consuming nation to becoming an exporting nation of halal industry. Number 2, challenge number 2, integrity of our certification, and this is very, very important. And I want to congratulate HCA for the good work that you have been doing. But I think there's still a very long road in this journey that we need to cover. You see, when you look at a country like Malaysia today, Malaysia is leading, when you look at the Muslim nations, is leading the other Muslim nations in the halal industry. What gives Malaysia that opportunity? Credibility of certificate issued by Malaysia. People trust Malaysian nation when it says this product is halal. And that is what is giving it an edge, even over Arab and more Muslim populated countries in the world. So we need to look at that with the help of organizations like HCA. I'm happy that by the time I stepped into this hall, I had a question mentioning fake halal certificate. It will not give us any advantage. It will ruin whatever opportunities that we have. If people cannot trust us when we say this is halal, certified by any Nigerian authority. So this is very, very important. Closely related to that one as a challenge is challenge number 3, lack of regulatory oversight. People can claim anything, but what countries in the world normally do in all sectors of our economy is to have regulators of any sector that will come and inspect whatever you have certified. Is it really worthy of that certificate that you are holding? As far as I know, the bodies and organizations that are to be saddled with the responsibility in Nigeria are not doing enough. When you look at the export side, we should be looking at the import side, rather. We should be looking at Standard Organization of Nigeria. And the other side, we should be looking at NAFDAC. But I don't know how capable are these two bodies to be regulatory authorities for halal certification in the country. And we must achieve that if we want to have a market that will be respected. We need a certificate that will be credible, and for achieving that, we need very strong regulatory framework to be behind whatever certificate that we issue. So we have seen example of what is happening in Malaysia, mainly because of what they have been able to do to achieve that high credibility and integrity in terms of what they issue as certificates of halal in the world. Number 4, we need also to look at diversification. Each time I hear people mentioning halal, 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 and if I should throw that question to members of my audience this afternoon too, I think majority of us still believe halal is all about food. Am I right? No, yes, it's relative. Majority of people still believe that when you say halal, you are only talking of meat and other food products. We have to look beyond that. Halal has grown beyond that market of food. Yes, as we said, it still constitutes the major component of the market with about 61%. But it's good for us to look at other sectors too. Pharmaceuticals, travel and tourism, cosmetics, media, recreation, and other sectors of the halal industry. We need to look into that one to develop them. And I said we need to replicate here what is already happening in the Islamic financial sector. In the Islamic financial sector, we started with banking industry. When the banks were licensed, beginning from Jaiz Bank, it was clear that Islamic finance, a bank cannot operate in isolation without having other components of the market. So that is why you notice that shortly, in a very few years after banking industry started, Islamic financial banking industry, there were insurance companies also. And in the capital market now, we have very strong presence of Islamic finance in the capital market. The latest in all these, they all assist one another. So the latest that you might have heard of is that Islamic finance has even entered the space of the pension fund in Nigeria. I don't know whether you are aware that a fund has been created in the pension administration in the country that is called Pensions Fund 6, that you can request for your fund to be moved from either Fund 2, Fund 3, Fund 4 to Fund 6, so that Islamic Bank, when they have money, they have where to invest the money. Sukuk is also playing an important role, because when we started, a lot of Islamic banks have a lot of money with them with no avenue for investment. That is not good enough for a banking industry. So I think we need to replicate this in the halal industry too. They will assist each other. When you have food alongside pharmaceuticals and other sectors of the economy, it is better to diversify and not to squarely face just one sector of these markets. The next one, number 5, Sharia issues in halal certification. And I think I have to emphasize this one. We have many Sharia issues that in fact, I will advise that maybe next time you have a seminar, it may be dedicated to this one. That we need to look certainly into some halal issues. Look at what I've mentioned here. Defining what is halal in terms of product and service is very, very important. Because in Al-Quran Al-Kareem, Allah says, وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَا تَصِفُ أَلْسِنَتُكُمُ الْكَذِبَ هَذَا حَلَالٌ وَهَذَا حَرَامٌ لِتَفْتَرُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبَ. Never say it. Never fabricate lies against Almighty Allah. One way of inventing lies, fabricating lies against Almighty Allah is to declare a product or a service as being halal and another as being haram, while in the real sense, it has not satisfied the requirement of being halal. So particularly, when you look at the version market of the halal global industry, we have that problem. You will wonder whether what is being declared as being halal in some fashions is actually halal. Let me give you some instances. When you look at the hijab market, the jilbab market, the issue, the rule of jilbab and hijab in Sharia is very clear. It is meant to conceal your adornment and ornament, not for the hijab itself or jilbab to itself become what? Ornament or adornment. And this is exactly what we are witnessing today in some halal markets. So we need to be very careful. We are dealing with a market that is strongly backed by religious laws. So before we pronounce a product or service as being halal, we must satisfy ourselves. We must be sure that it's actually halal. This is one of the challenges that I think we may face by the time we are exploring this market. We need to look at what actually is halal and declare it as same and not declare anything as being halal. Number 6 is awareness creation, and this is a very big challenge for us, particularly in this country. There is a very, very low level of awareness about what is halal, about consuming what is halal in terms of product and services. Unfortunately, again, I would like to compare us to other African countries here too. I will give you 2 examples. I was in South Africa in 2012 for a conference at Johannesburg in South Africa. And I was so surprised that the conference was organized by a secular body, but having noticed that some of us, about 3 or 5 of us, were Muslims attending the conference without us making any request. By the time it was time for break for lunch, I just discovered them inviting us one after the other to a corner designated as halal table in South Africa, because they are very conscious of that one. And they have less than 5% Muslim population, like I said. It's not a matter of being the majority or being the minority. It's a matter of showing seriousness and knowing that this is what is required to be done. I will give you the second example as I promised. I was traveling on a Kenya Airways aircraft one. I think I was going to Tanzania. Yes, I was going to Tanzania on Kenya Airways. And each time when I was aboard any aircraft, if I'm in doubt about the halal status of their meal, I would just say I don't want to eat. So I prefer to remain hungry rather than to take haram. So I did the same thing on that aircraft. I said, no, I don't need any meal. Do you need this? Do you need, I don't know, nothing. Then one of them approached me and said, are you a vegetarian? I said, no, I'm not. I'm not a vegetarian, but is it a must that I must eat from your meal? He said, no, it's not. Then they came back again. And by the time one of them approached me, he showed me his name tag. I still remember vividly the name. The name is Abdurrahman. Kenya, again, is a Muslim minority country. Muslims are not in the majority in Kenya. Then he said, I know what you are afraid of. I said, what is that one? He said, you want to consume haram? I said, yes, you are perfectly correct. Then he said, what surprised me? He said, look, I can guarantee that for you. that on any aircraft belonging to the Kenya Airways, anywhere in the world, anything that will be served must be halal certified. These are African countries. We are not talking of Arab or majority Muslim countries, because they know that it's a market. Kenya Airways has a lot of Muslim customers patronizing it, and it doesn't want to lose those customers. So I think we are seriously lagging behind in that respect in Nigeria. This challenge, first and foremost, is to our ulama, the preachers, the imams. How many times have they found time to discuss halal products and services in their mosque and in their gatherings? So it's a very big challenge, that not to talk of non-Muslims. Muslims themselves are not aware of the necessity of the requirement to always go for halal products and services. So this is a challenge that we must tackle. I said partly due to a misconception of a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some people, when you approach them and say, oh, is this halal? The answer will be, is it necessary to be halal? Then they will quote a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam narrated by Aisha radiyallahu anha, al-Mu'minin, the mother of the faithful, Aisha radiyallahu anha. Now we are going to analyze the hadith here today. Aisha said radiyallahu anha that yes, kunna nu'ta bi ta'amin wala nadri adhakaru ismallahi alayhi am la. Faqala an-nabiy sallallahu alayhi wa sallam samu antum wa kulu. Aisha radiyallahu anha said some people came to complain before the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that sometimes we will have precisely meat coming from a particular part of the world, and we are not sure whether the animals producing the meat were slaughtered or not, and whether the name of Almighty Allah precisely was mentioned on it at the point of slaughtering as requested or not. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, Samu antum fakulu. Then you say Bismillah, you mention the name of Almighty Allah and eat. And that is what some people are using to mislead people and creating negative awareness about it. You just mention Bismillah and begin to eat, whether you are sure or you are not sure. So please, we should stop misleading people. Or if we don't have a correct understanding of the saying of the Prophet, we should seek for a correct understanding. In this particular hadith, the narrator clearly said it, وَكَانُوا حَدِيثِي أَهَدٍ بِكُفْرٍ. كَانُوا حَدِيثِي أَهَدٍ بِكُفْرٍ. That the meat we are talking of is coming from people that have recently embraced Islam. They have recently embraced Islam. We are only doubtful whether they have understood this as part of the rules of their new religion or not. But there is possibility that they have done. There is likelihood that they have mentioned the name of Almighty Allah. It's only a matter of being doubtful about it, because they are Muslims. But what of when you are sure that something coming from this country or coming from this part of the world was never slaughtered and they will never hide that from you, and no mention of Almighty Allah was even effected at the point of slaughtering, if it was ever slaughtered? So that hadith is not talking about what you are sure of its haram status, but it's only talking of what you are in doubt of, and there is likelihood and high possibility that it is halal. Then that one you can just say Samullaha antum fakulu. You say Bismillahi and eat. So I'm saying all this because some people are still misleading people outside based on a wrong interpretation of this hadith. And let me share some experiences. In the West, when they started embracing Islamic finance, they also encountered a problem like this. Some so-called scholars believed there was no need for Islamic finance. They said we are in a Muslim minority state. So every haram becomes a necessity to consume. So that's their principle. That why are you looking for what is halal? We are here as minorities. So by the rule of necessity, by the rule of darura, We can just take anything. But alhamdulillah, that has become thing of the past today. Those that are more serious about the teachings of their religion actually stood on their feet and said, no, we can only claim necessity when you are helpless, when you cannot help yourself. But we can. And Islamic finance was introduced and is flourishing all over the world today. So the same thing happened here in Nigeria. As a member of CBN Advisory Council of Experts on Islamic Finance, there was a time it was put before us to discuss CBN interventions for all Nigerians. But every intervention must have an element of interest. CBN will give you money and charge you interest, although at a very minimal level, like 9%, 1 digit, thank you, always one digit. So it was 9% that was to be charged. And a challenge came that if Muslims are to benefit from it, one, this is not a free money. You must come up with an alternative that will be also profitable to CBN. If CBN is not charging interest, it must get something in return as profit. So we started looking into that. And some people thought it was unnecessary. That just ask people to take it as necessity. That just ask Muslims that you must also benefit from it. So take it as necessity. We must be careful of whatever we say because we are going to be accountable on the day of resurrection. I'm giving all these examples because I believe they are affecting whatever effort is being made to create more awareness about halal products and services, and we must be very, very careful. We must be, okay, number 7, that is almost, okay. We are talking of halal tourism, halal travel and tourism to attract people to come and visit our country as being halal or Sharia compliant. But if we still have insecurity, nobody will come. So it's a major challenge for us if we want to benefit from what halal industry has for us in terms of travel and tourism. Insecurity must be tackled very, very seriously. The next one. The next one, that is the end. No. The next slide. The next slide. No. No, this one has also come to an end. But so this is number 8 is funding. Funding is also an issue here when we are saying we want to develop halal market. And this one I'm calling on our NIFIs, that is non-interest financial institution. Please let us emulate what Malaysia as a country again has done by dedicating a significant amount of your facilities to people in the halal industry. When you are doing that, you are assisting yourself. Because as we said earlier on, they all aid one another. If you develop Islamic finance, you develop food, halal market, you develop pharmaceuticals. So the first bank that a pharmaceutical company will think of when he wants any banking facility will be an Islamic bank. So when you favor them, you give them facilities, help them to grow, you will also reap your benefit from doing that. So we are calling on Islamic financial institutions to expand their SME proposition by enabling halal trade and connectivity. The last one, okay, this is just for us to take a look at. This is the latest sector by sector ranking. This is what I referred to in the beginning of my presentation, that you hardly find Nigerian being mentioned in most of the statistics of halal global industry. Look at this one now. Apart from Islamic finance, you can never find Nigeria in the end of the top 10. In halal food, in Muslim-friendly travel, in modest fashion, in pharmaceuticals and cosmetics, and in media and recreation. You will never see Nigeria being mentioned as one of the top. The next one, this is the overall ranking. Interestingly, Nigeria came 13. And this is the good news that I have for us, that if with our performance in just one sector of the many halal sectors, we can occupy the 13th position in the world. What will happen if we develop our potential in the other sectors? It means Nigeria should come either first or second or third in the world. We have what it takes to be, and this is what we are calling you to look at this gathering and other related gatherings, that there are opportunities in the halal market industry, and we want us to take that advantage to grow our nation and develop our country. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for your attention. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The text here. I know a lot of us would wish that probably let us take the chance to enjoy it, and alhamdulillah I was able to learn simply. Well, we have listened to it, we have seen the statistics, and we have got all the necessary information that we need. It's now up to us, based on what we have listened to, especially for those of us, the corporate participants, on the decisions we will take, moving forward, on how we can actually harness all these opportunities that we have been told, and how we can also work together with, regulatory bodies, other bodies like Halal, Certification Authority, and other SMEs, so that we can actually expand, the growth of that sector. So, at this juncture, so I don't know if any one of us has one or two questions based on the presentation. Prof, sir. So some people have one or two questions. Okay. All right. Taj Bank 1. Oh, HCA. You two want to ask? You are the host. Okay. Number 2. All right. Okay, number 3, and that's all. Sorry. Okay. HCA. Well, don't worry. You'll be 3B. Don't worry. Okay, number 1. Okay.
My name is Michael Tay. I work with Tiger. I'm the regional manager in Lagos. Prof, I really want to thank you because you did justice to this topic. And we are very impressed. One, Islamic financing is quite unique. And it's an idea that people are embracing all over the world. But the most unfortunate thing in Nigeria is ignorance. Okay, so we need a lot of enlightenment in that regard. I tell my team, our headquarters in Abuja, we have branches across the north, but just a lazy office in Ikoyi. I tell those who care to this, and also my colleagues, that the market is waiting for us. The market is waiting for us because financing is cheap, covenant, and also inexpensive. We operate like a JV. So many of the facilitators talk about it. We operate like a JV. We sit with you. We diagnose the business with you. We take the risk. We share the risk with you. We are not going to allow you to run alone. As the normal, I've worked with 5 different banks before coming to Tajba to become the regional manager in Lagos. I work with 5 different, even in multinational banks in Nigeria. But I can tell you today that the ethical banks, which is the Islamic banks, are quite unique in their value proposition. That I can confirm to you. One, they don't charge you processing fees when you process facilities with them. They don't charge you management fees. There is no CO2 account management fees on the account. It's almost less than 0. There's no charges to the account. But they discuss with you, agree with you, based on your profitability analysis, we'll come to an agreement with you, either with a markup or a profit rate that we'll share with you. Thank you so much for this session. Prof, thank you. That's my contribution. Let me not take your time. Thank you. All right. Number 2, please.
My name is David. I'm representing my Israel society. I just, when Professor Alaro got to the issue of interest, the area of interest, and he was discussing about the data on the CBN interest and all that. The CBN will usually charge a percentage when giving out the money. So I just want him to expatiate on that, because in relation to that, what struck my mind is about this home ownership scheme that is being granted by the Federal Money Bank. So we have issue with that. That is the reason why we have not hit into the I just want to know how can we have a smooth, a seamless, non-interest, financing.
The halal alternative within the scope of ownership scheme. I think number 3. Oh, sorry.
First of all, I'd like to thank I'm a student of uni. First of all, I'd like to thank Professor Alaro. So my question is the ruling of Islamic ruling, cryptocurrency, another similar platform. It is very
Clarity on cryptocurrency.
Thank you very much. Don't mind this time. I'm equally a Ghana. And what I have in mind is a kind of comment, not seriously question. Yes, I know. The question is about how do we cover the informal sector? All I'm talking about the formal sector. How do we cover the informal sector of our economy without variable? Today, majority of the populace, particularly in Nigeria, 80% patronize informal sector, particularly in food. And that is because I'm working on a project about street food in Lagos and beyond. And what I have seen shows that, sorry, they are not there. Egg is on our hand. It is HCA. And if you don't hold it, I mean fresh egg, not spoiled. If you are not able to break, that's the end. I'm impressed where we are just scratching it on the surface. I can assure you that with persistence and determination, we can get there. Thank you so much.
Prof.
Practically, I think we have just 2 questions. Others are comments and contributions. Sorry. Thank you. The first question is about home financing that will be Sharia compliant. Well, we are making a lot of progress, and we must appreciate Almighty Allah for that one. We started with banking. We got insurance companies, Islamic insurance companies being licensed. Sharia compliant instruments are already in the capital market, and even in the pension fund administration, like I told you. This is one area that we have not been able to achieve much. The area of having Sharia compliant home financing scheme, especially by government. Is very simple. Like what is taking place now in the financial sector. Instead of giving you an amount of money and charging a percentage of interest, we do it in an alternative way that will equally end in rewarding the owner of the money, not the creditor this time around. Most times, by forming a kind of partnership between the owner of the money and the investor or whoever is using the money to produce something. This same strategy, this same approach can be adopted in the home financing space too. That you can have a home being financed through istisna. That is, if a particular department is ready to finance people that are requesting for houses. So instead of just giving them money and expect them to pay interest at a particular percentage, there is a way of structuring it that I will be the developer of the house, and you will give me the specification of such a house that you are requesting. but it will be like a sale contract between me and you, that you will pay the purchase price, which will have accommodated my own profit plus whatever I've used to construct the house. So this is just one area of doing it, and there are other many ways of achieving that. But as I told you, it's a work in progress, and we cannot say we are not making the progress. We cannot deny that one. Let's hope that in future we will have a good result in this aspect also, as we have had in the other sectors. But up till now, there is no Sharia compliant alternative for home financing, especially by government entities. The second one is about cryptocurrency, and that one may take us into another 1 hour or more lecture. What I would just advise the questioner is that I've delivered 2 lectures on cryptocurrency. For each of the 2 ran for more than 2 hours. So I think they are available even on the YouTube. Yes, as you rightly put it, it's still highly controversial whether we can trade in cryptocurrency or not. Because cryptocurrency, what is causing the controversy is this in summary. It's called currency. But there is a big debate about whether it is really a currency or an asset. Because if it is a currency, we have normal behavior of currencies in the world. One area that cryptocurrency has clearly departed that non-route, that non-behavior of currencies, is the high volatility that we witness in cryptocurrency. I was reading yesterday, just yesterday or before yesterday, about 48 hours ago, that the price of Bitcoin, just a currency out of these cryptocurrencies in the world, fell for about thousands of dollars. So you imagine that you have something that is worth $1 billion naira today, and tomorrow you wake up to now realize you are having less by 50% of that amount as your property again. And the next morning, it may go high again to become 100% or 200% of that one. So scholars are still looking at that from that angle, that this is not really a currency. And that is why they are likening it to a gambling exercise. But to some other scholars, they said, stop looking at cryptocurrency as a currency. Let's look at it as an asset. And that is why those who are declaring it as being halal, that is their own basis for so doing. Because as an asset, you can have an asset that will be sold for 1 naira today, especially in this country, and tomorrow it will be sold for 100 naira. The next one will be sold for 200 naira. If it is an asset, to behave that way is not strange. But as a currency, it is not common in the world of currencies, the high rate of volatility that we witness in cryptocurrency world.
Capturing the informal sector.
Capturing the informal sector. I think HCA should be in a better position to answer that. But what I will advise is that we need to create a synergy between the formal and the informal sector. The informal sector will actually need the formal sector in terms of regulation. So yes, we cannot allow the informal sector to continue to operate in isolation, because this will affect what I said, credibility of our halal certification. So there's a need for us to create that synergy, and not only supervising or regulating them, the formal sector must also facilitate what the informal sector is doing. This is what operates in other parts of the world. It's not just coming to say, do this, do that, but I must have a way of assisting and facilitating what the informal sector is also doing. And I believe HCA is capable of anchoring this one by creating that synergy between the formal and informal sector of the halal market in Nigeria. May Allah make it easy for you.
Yeah. All right, Alaro, response to some of the questions.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, quickly, the response on standards, like I said in my presentation, by national regulations, standards is domiciled with standardization of Nigeria. So for any standards that is going to be enacted for this SON that
produce a standard to be used by both regulators and also the players in the sector. So that's why I said that halal food standards is the responsibility of SON. That we, the stakeholders, key stakeholders, halal certification authority inclusive, we have sat down, we have done that. It has gone to several other key stakeholders, and it has been approved by the council. That is the regulation of Nigeria. It has to be approved by the council of SON, and it's just for public, to publish it for public consumption. How do we align a certificate globally? Presently, what we use for certification in HCA is the global standard, and that's, like I said, the SMIC OIC standards. It's a global standard, and we have aligned some of the things we do. We are recognized by JACIM, and we are also accredited. So the point we are making is that if anybody is saying that these are issues in the halal certification, really, there are countries who will be insistent that until when HCBs will come and register with their own national organization, that is when they can accept their own certificate. For how long are we going to start registering with all national regulations of every country? For example, JACIM is recognized by almost about 80 countries. That's a good thing for us. That is why we are recognized by JACIM. But how do we expect HCA to now register with every, register with Qatar, register with Indonesia, register? It's not okay. And that is why what we do is that we play at global level. And we know this is a challenge in the halal sector too. And inshallah, we are going to overcome it. As a matter of fact, I was speaking to somebody that it's just that Nigeria is just waking up to halal issues. How is Indonesia to be telling Nigeria they don't recognize Nigeria certificate? It's a slap. How do we translate well, regional and global practice? Yes, I said we are going to play with ARSO at a regional level, at African level, and at global level we're going to be playing at the level of OIC, SMIC, and WTO. So what we need to do now is to position ourselves, and closely related to that is that we need to form at multinational level. You may not have issues, but at SMEs you can do business clusters, so that by the time those opportunity comes, you'll be able to launch yourself and get that opportunity. Halal certification, yes, coding system is available. If you check, even we have barcodes, we have several coding systems to assure that, and those e-codes or barcodes can also be traceable to a particular HCB, so that it will not just be that anybody's just giving certificate. And what global best practices is that even not just giving you a certificate, for each of your products, if it's a product-based certification or your service-based certification, will be traceable to a particular unique code. So that is also a way to be able to monitor certificate. For product that you're bringing in and already has a lot of certificates on it, that the onus is not on us. We can verify. You can come to HCA and say, help us verify whether these products are from a registered HCB. We can do that for you. We have a way of checking that on our own platform, on our own network, to see that those you are importing from, the halal label on that product is actually okay. So we can contact or we can verify that. But it is the onus on you too, who is importing, to ask from the agency or the company you're importing from to provide justification for the label they have claimed on the product that is said to be certified. I think these are the questions that was asked about China.
Thank you for providing answers to those questions. Very quickly, we'd like to appreciate the support and partnership of Golden Penny. In fact, they have provided this as, Golden Sugar Company. Sorry. Well, because I can see I'm only reacting. Okay, that's a brand new. All right. So Golden Sugar Company. So they've provided this, and it will be available for some of us. It might not. We have a whole lot that will go around. So I would like to appreciate their partnership, and we're also using this opportunity. It is also certified. Yes, it has a halal certification. So if you check the back, you would see that certification there. Halal. That is to tell you that we are actually doing something here in Nigeria. So you can also do the same for your products, and at the same time, on the basis of that certification, we are recommending it to each and every one of us in our homes, in our offices, you know, all these ones. I'm sure you never regret doing so, because with that certification, it means it is halal, it is lawful, and it is tayyiban. It is also safe, pure, and you know, clean for us to consume. May Allah reward us abundantly. So we would have opportunity to get one while going. Thank you very much. All right. So at this juncture, I'd like to invite Imam Sharifuddin Ibrahim for vote of thanks. Okay, he's been interviewed. Okay, Dr. Ajani, if you want to do that, please.
How will I start the vote of thanks?
Okay, so
We do his own too, don't worry. You will do your own vote of thanks too. On behalf of the management of Halal Certification Authority, we want to thank the Almighty God first for making this possible. Golden Sugar, you can sit down. Wait, so that we appreciate you too. But sorry, let me just quickly crack a joke. Professor Alaro, probably you listen. When we're about to pick, I'm the Secretary General of Halal Certification Authority. So everything is on my table. So I'll crack the joke. What I said behind you, let me say it in front of you before thanking you. We're thinking of who will give this keynote. People have different names, and it's on my table. They mentioned one name, I said, no, I don't, what? Another person mentioned, and then they now mentioned Abdumajit Alaro. I say Abdumajit Alaro. I said, can he even speak English? Then they now started tutoring me, this and that. But as I used to see one Alaro on probably social media, Facebook, whatever. That I thought is one old guy somewhere saying what. And I now see Alaro here. It's just a very probably I'm even older than him. I don't know. Never know. He's a young chap like me. So I withdraw those statements that a prof. I know when someone telling me prof, I say there are some profs. They may just be prof, but they don't have what it takes to be prof. We have many profs. But today, I have a reset of my reset button now, of whom Professor Alaro is based on the scholarly and well-researched topic which he has done here. So when you hear prof, you know there are profs and there are profs. With this, I want to start my vote of thanks in the reverse order. And you know, it's supposed to come in first, but is actually delivering the last lecture today. On behalf of the entire management of Halal Certification Authority, we really appreciate you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to increase you in knowledge. Probably we need to induct you into the Hall of Fame of Halal Certification Authority. You should be an ambassador of Halal Certification Authority right from today onwards. Because what you've dished out today shows that the stoves are there. If you allow you to keep speaking, talking, you can talk from now till whatever time. And the good thing is, you can see the acceptability. It flows irrespective of religion, irrespective of whatever. It was able to dish out the required. If you have missed this part of training today, that means you've actually missed a lot. Really want to thank you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide you. I now accept Professor Alaro as not just Yoruba, because I always hear Yoruba all the time, not knowing that the source are more importantly is from Ilorin, where people, Allah gave them that to know how to talk very well, and he has displayed that here today. Thank you very much, Prof. And all the lecturers from the beginning to the end. I really want to appreciate. I want to appreciate Golden Sugar Company for at least one needs to appreciate them. In fact, I can say it's our first customer, and they have actually put that forth today. If we advertise your product more than this, I think even if you don't pay for it, you're worth it. And the likes of that is also NASCO here present all the way from Jos. We also have Royal Salt from Port Harcourt here present, and whole lot and host of others that are here present. Sorry, probably if I won't be able to mention all your names. On behalf of the management, we really want to appreciate you for keep this brand, the brand HCA, going. Not to leave any member. Are you the 5th REM or the 6th REM? The members of the media team here present, I'm sure you do justice to the publicity of what we've been able to do here today. And all the members of the management team too. We've been having a sleepless night right from Saturday or Sunday. Some, I'm sure, did not sleep overnight because of the logistics involved of how to make everything work. And every other person, and the University of Lagos should not be left out. Even if we pay and we are not given this opportunity, I think we really need to appreciate them. From the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ogundikpe. We don't know one way or the other. We expect the Deputy Vice Chancellor's services to be here, but due to one reason or the other, we can't get him here. All our big brothers around, we want to thank you. I won't close it. Where is Madam Sharif Ibrahim? Imam. So I should close it. I should close it. But before that, too, the part of what we need to do to wrap it up is presentation of certificates to all the presenters today, the resource person here present today, and we call on the chairman of the Halal Subject Authority to do that on behalf of the management.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Halal Certification Authority, we appreciate our resource persons. They've done justice to the topics. And on behalf of HCA, we want to start with the keynote speaker, Professor Abdumajit, Abdul Razak, Alaro. This is it's an award to express our sincere appreciation for coming all the way from Alaro to grace this occasion. We're excited, we are very happy, and we are satisfied that he has truly done justice to the topics in question. He has indeed created more awareness about halal for all of us. He has done our job for us.
Thank you.